Well, next week at 3 o'clock, we continue our series of Planet of the Apes. It's, in fact, Escape from the Planet of the Apes. 3 chimpanzees set off in a spacecraft back in time and end up in modern America. So if you're following it, and I know lots of you are, then don't miss it next Thursday at 3 o'clock. Well, stay with us because after the break, we'll be joining John Suchet at ITN for a roundup of yesterday's world news.
Quando está pronto?
Em 5 6 anos.
Tão cedo?
Coburn's late bottled vintage port.
The Atari 520 ST has twice the power of many business micros. It handles business with ease. It can paint pictures and make them move. It can play advanced games. Yet it costs less than £300. The Atari 520 ST. Power without the price.
Few pleasures compare with relaxing in front of a good video. Of course, one needs something as ingenious as the new Hitachi video with transmitter. Everything is remote control. Programming for a start. Next week's movie? Simple. Then there's picture in picture. So I can check what's on TV while watching video, or vice versa. And Super Indexer. Brilliant. A sort of electronic bookmark that goes straight to the start of each recording on the cassette until it finds the one I want. After all, when I'm as relaxed as this, you wouldn't want me to have to get up, would you?
Total remote control video. Lie back and think of Hitachi.
On the 60s Party Mega Mix album, the hits just keep on coming. From Dusty Springfield to Dave D, Jerry and the Pacemakers, and the Kinks. 60 non-stop mega mixes with the Hollies and Tom Jones.
What's new, pussycat?
The 60-track party album you can't be without. Get the 60s Party Mega Mix album. It's music to your ears from Telstar.
The new Sunsilk conditioner is a rich, light mousse that rinses easily away, leaving your hair in beautiful condition. Sunsilk's new conditioner, it's the secret of life in your hair.
We now have the news as broadcast by ITN to Europe last night. The time, 5 o'clock.
Major row over safety after London's worst underground fire. Paris firemen practice their safety drill. Left-wing guerrillas plant bombs in Lima. Now superpowers talk about nuclear testing. Hello, I'm John Suchet in London with the world news from ITN. A major safety investigation has begun after 30 people died in Britain's worst ever underground railway fire. The victims were trapped by smoke and flames when the fire broke out in London's busiest station, King's Cross. A special ITN inquiry has revealed that the station did not have important safety systems of the kind which exist in Paris, Frankfurt, New York, Montreal and Moscow. The exact cause of the fire is still a mystery, but it's thought to have started on one of the station's 60-year-old wooden escalators. The fire then spread up into the main ticket hall, and it's there that most of the victims died. Among them was a fireman who had braved thick smoke without special breathing apparatus in an attempt to rescue members of the public.
It was an inferno of heat, smoke and flames. A nightmare for scores of passengers trapped in a ticket hall 20 feet below ground. Tonight it's still not certain what caused Britain's worst tube fire, but its effects are tragically clear. 30 people are dead and many badly burned. Survivors spoke of the intense heat and flames which drove passengers screaming through smoke-filled tunnels. Concrete and brick radiated heat. Burning ceiling tiles rained down. Acrid smoke suffocated many of the victims. The exits acted as chimneys, funneling the fire back down underground. Asbestos was an added hazard. At one point, rescue workers had to stop work because of it. Desperate attempts were made to revive the bodies pulled from the ticket hall. King's Cross is London's busiest underground station. There are 5 tube lines running into a mainline station. The fire broke out near the top of the Piccadilly line escalator into the ticket hall. This hall is situated 20 feet below ground level. Smoke immediately filled the ticket hall and the exits to the street and billowed back down the escalator to the platform.
The fire spread suddenly and dramatically, and a sheet of flame came across the top of the escalator, filling the whole of the space at the top of the escalator right up to the ceiling.
Several died despite desperate attempts to revive them. It was impossible to quickly identify 17 of the bodies, so badly were they burnt. The hopes of many relatives were dashed when they arrived at a temporary coroner's court set up in a nearby hall. Time and again the firemen plunged into the smoke-filled darkness, a journey into the unknown, as one of them described it. Despite their breathing apparatus, many of them were overcome. One fireman, Staff Officer Colin Townsley, died. He may have gone in unprotected, a gut reaction to save as many passengers' lives as possible, whatever the personal cost. There were maps of the underground available, but they were stored in the ticket office, and firemen had to fight through flames to reach them. But at dawn, as forensic officers moved in to investigate the cause of the blaze, questions were already being asked about staffing levels at stations like King's Cross, where there have been cutbacks. Are there enough London Transport employees to keep the stations in good repair and assist people should there be an emergency? The images of heroism and tragedy at King's Cross Station were summed up by fireman Treffry from his hospital bed.
The heat and the smoke is a part of the fire brigade. You were set there, and you were set there's a danger to it. But even when it comes home, it's still hard to accept that you've lost somebody, and that will always be there.
Operators of underground railways all over the world have been considering their own safety procedures in the light of the London fire disaster. As ITN's Simon Marks reports, many other countries have already invested millions of dollars in sophisticated safety devices for their stations.
Smoke billows out of a Paris metro station. Emergency services hurry to the scene, aware of what is expected of them. Each fireman has a map of the station. This wasn't the real thing, just an exercise, ironically taking place within hours of the fatal London fire. It was one of 2 practices the French put together every year, with a seriousness that is echoed on underground systems worldwide. The Paris metro is fully equipped to deal with a disaster. Smoke detectors have been installed and the remaining wooden escalators are all being replaced. 300 security agents patrol the system 24 hours a day, checking for fire. In New York, the story is much the same. A series of fires on the subway in the 1970s led to safety rules being tightened. Smoking is banned everywhere, and work crews remove all the rubbish from beneath the escalators once a week. The last wooden staircase was replaced in 1985. But safety costs money. $10 billion had to be raised for the New York improvements. In Washington, authorities are considering spending $40 million to improve safety on their subway after concerns were expressed about the system's ventilation. But already there are sprinklers wherever there is material that can catch fire, and firefighters can use water pipes which connect right into the tunnels of the underground to fight any blaze. In Montreal, safety on the subway means 88 full fire drills in the last 3 years and a special ventilation system built into the tunnels. An inspection team travels the system around the clock, and all the city's firemen have access to maps of all the city's stations. In Moscow, the authorities have recently been concentrating on trying to improve the elaborately designed underground system. At one point, 200 accidents were taking place there each year.